In this video, we'll set up a bottom navigation bar and customize the styling to have a floating design. So we'll set up something like what you have in the Expo Go app here, and then we'll style it to have the floating design. To set up the tabs, we need some packages from React Navigation. So in my browser, I'll search for React Navigation bottom tabs. Now we can visit the first link here. And then for the bottom tabs, it says we need to install some prerequisite packages. So we start by visiting the navigation native here. And then over here, we first need to install React Navigation Native. Once the terminal is ready, we can install it here. The next thing we need to install after this is the React Native Screens and React Native Save Area Contest. So this if you are using an Expo based project like I'm about to do now. So we copy this command as well. And over here we paste it and run it as well. The next thing we need to install is the React Navigation bottom tab itself. So over here, we copy the command to install the bottom tabs. With the installation complete, we install the bottom tabs. Once they are installed, we can start our app and then proceed with our work. With the app loaded like so, we'll start our work. We'll create a new directory in our project and call it navigators. Now these navigators will make use of screens, so we'll create another directory and call it screens. In this navigators directory, we'll have our bottom tabs and we'll call this home tabs. Here we'll set up a component for the home tabs. And we'll export this as the default. Now to get us started for this component, let's go to the documentation page. Over here, we should go to the API definition and copy the code here. So we copy the return of the function. We paste it here. And also we copy the import statements. And also the tab definition. With this done, we also need to do some work in the app.js file. Over here, we need to render the navigation container. You can also get it from the documentation as well. So over here, we visit the getting started page where we install the initial packages. And then we can see the navigation container here. So for that one, we can get it from React Navigation Native. So we copy the import and paste it here. And then over here, the whole app will be wrapped in the navigation container. So we wrap the content here in the navigation container. So what I can do is replace the view here with navigation container like so. I can get rid of the styles and everything as well. So inside the navigation container will be our home tabs. So for now, we can import the home tabs here. Like so, then replace the text here with the home tabs. Like so. Now we don't need the styles here, so we can get rid of it. Also, all the imports from React Native, they are not needed anymore. Now we have an error here, which is fine because we don't have the screen. So for now, let's create a file for the screen. So in the screens directory, we create a new file and we'll call this home. Now over here, you can just render a text to show that this is the home file, but I created a file for the home screen, which will change its content depending on the route that navigates to it. So I'll copy the content and paste it here. So this is in no way related to the bottom tabs. You can put anything here and it will be fine. You don't need to have this code. But all I'm doing here is that I'm switching the route which navigated to this component. So if it's the home route, we render the home icon. If it's the trending route, we render the trending app and all that. So that will render a flat list here, and it will have 2 columns of a list of items. So don't worry about this. You see the output when we use it. So back in the home tab screen, we import the home screen. So we import home from the screens directory. And then for all the screens in the tab, we make use of this component. So this will make use of the home component and this as well. So now I'll copy and paste this as well so that we have 3 tabs. And the tabs I planned for this app, the second one is trending, and the next one is saved, like so. Yeah. So now this is how our tabs look like. So we'll adjust the styling to get the design that we want. So the first thing we want to adjust is the icon for the tabs. So we'll do that on the tab.navigator component. We'll make use of the screen options prop. So screen options. Then over here, we'll pass a function. And then it will return an object like so. Now this function will receive the route that we are currently on. So receive the route object like so. And then over here, we can do whatever we want with the route. For the icon, we'll make use of the tab bar icon option like so. This will also receive a function. And then as props, it will receive the color, size, and also the focus property. All these will come from the tab navigator. Now I want to declare a variable to store the name of the icon that we'll be using. So we'll call this icon name. And then to determine the particular icon, we'll check for the name of the route. So if we're on the home route, we will return a particular icon. If it's on the trending, we'll return an icon as well. And then for the saved, we'll return something else. So I'll make use of the switch statement here. So I'll switch route.name. And then we'll check the various cases. So first, we'll check for the case where the route is home. In this case, the icon name will be set to home. Now with the icons, we'll be making use of 2 variants each. If the tab is currently in focus, we want to return a deepened icon. Otherwise, we'll just return an outline of the icon. So for the home icon like this, we'll check the focus property. This will be true if the current tab is active. So if the tab is focused, we'll return the home icon. Otherwise, we'll return home outline. Like so. After this, we'll break. And we'll do this for all the other tabs. So we can copy and paste this a couple of times. Now the second route is trending. And for this, if the tab is in focus, we'll use trending app. Otherwise, we make use of trending app outline. So we can copy the name here and replace it. The last route is the saved route. For this, we'll return the bookmark icon and then the bookmark outline icon if it's out of focus. Now, the kind of icon names you use here will depend on where you are getting your icons from. For this demonstration, we'll be getting our icons from Iron Icons. So we can import that from Expo Vector Icons. So Iron Icons from Expo Vector Icons, like so. So you have to check with the icon pack and get the names for the outlined icons and also the deepened icons. So after the switch statement, once we have our icon name like so, we'll return the particular icon. So here we'll return the Iron Icon component, like so. And then the name will be the icon name. Also, to make use of the size, and lastly, we'll give it a color. And then we close off the component, like so. And we can see that we have our icons being displayed. So if I switch, you see that the icon is deepened. Otherwise, we get an outline. Next, we want to style the labels. For that one, we'll make use of the tab bar label. So we go below the tab bar icon, and then we use the tab bar label. This will take a function as well, because we'll be returning a component. For this, it will receive the children property, the color, and then focused. And over here, we're making use of the text component. So we need to import that from React Native. So we import the text component from React Native, like so. Now over here, we return the text component as the outermost component. And this will receive the children. Like so. Now we'll style the text component a bit. We start by giving it a font size of 10 to maintain the initial size. Then we pass the color to it as well. Now if the tab is in focus, we want to bold in the text. So for this, we make use of the font weight property. And then we check for the focused property. If it's true, we want to return bold. Otherwise, we make use of the normal font weight, like so. With this done, we want to style the tab bar itself. So for that, we'll do it in the tab bar style property. So for this, we'll make use of the style sheet from React Native. So at the top, we import style sheet from React Native. And then we create a style sheet at the bottom. Now the first style is the tab bar style. So let's pass this to the tab bar style property. So over here, we pass styles.tab bar style, like so. We start by giving the tab bar a height. So we set the height to 80. And then we want to give it a background color. For this, we make use of the hex FEFCE8. This has to be a string. Like so. Next, we'll position it to be absolute. And then we'll give it a bottom of 10. So this bottom value will raise it a bit from the bottom of the screen. Next, we want to give it some space at the left and the right. So we'll give it a left value of 20 and a right value of 20 as well. Next, we'll give it a border radius. And we'll set this value to 40. This will give us the curvature that we want. After this, we want to give it a border top width of 0. And then to ensure a consistent shadow on both Android and iOS, we will set some shadow properties. So starting with the shadow color, we'll set the shadow color to black. And then we want a shadow offset. This will be an object, and we'll set the width to 0 and the height of 5. Also, we'll set a shadow opacity. For this, we'll set it to a value of 0.5. And then lastly, we'll set a shadow radius. And this will be 5. Now, all these properties will have no effect on the Android version of the application. However, they will give us a shadow on the iOS device. Now, to achieve a similar result on the Android, we'll pass the elevation property and we'll set the value to 5. And that will adjust the shadow that we have around the bottom tab. Next, we want to style the individual tabs in the bottom tab. So for that, to make use of the tab bar item style. So tab bar item style. So we go to the top, we can copy the name, and just below the tab bar style, we pass it. So for this style, we'll start by setting a padding vertical. So we'll set the padding vertical to 10. And then we'll give it a margin of 10. Like so. Also, we'll give it a border radius as well. And we'll set the value to 40. Just like the parent container. Now I want to adjust the colors of the content of the bottom tabs. So at the top here, we'll go below the tab bar item style. And then we'll start with the tab bar active background color. For this, we'll make use of this hex here. Like so. And then we want to adjust the tint color of the tab bar. That is the color of the icons and also the text. So that will be tab bar active tint color. And for this, we'll make it white. Next, for the inactive content, we want to set a color as well. So that will be tab bar inactive tint color. And for this, we'll make use of this hex as well. Like so. That will make it a very faint gray. Now to conclude the work, we can match the title of the page to the color of our tab. So for that, we'll set a header tint color. Then we can copy the color of our background. Then we can align the title as well. So header title align. And then to the center. Like so. Lastly, on the iOS devices, by default, there will be a border at the bottom of the headers. So to get rid of it, we need to add a header style. And for this, we define a style sheet for it. So that will be styles.headerStyle. And then down in the style sheet, we add header style. For this, we'll set border bottom width to 0, then shadow color to transparent. You can also set shadow opacity to 0, elevation to 0 as well. So if it happens that you have that line on Android as well, these properties will get rid of it, and also get rid of it on the iOS devices. With this done, we have the design that we saw initially, and everything works fine. Now the resulting source code for this project will be linked in the description, so you can check it out.